Well, a very good morning and welcome to a beautifully warm and sunny Antalya in Turkey. It's the opening day of competition at the Antalya Grand Prix. We've previously been in Samsun, but I'm happy to say that we're down in Antalya, where the International Judo Federation had the World Team Championship some years ago. Well, here we are again, and I'm very happy to be sitting next to the former world champion, Loretta Kusat-Doyle. Loretta's going to tell you all about who we should expect to see this morning. It's a very good morning to you, Loretta.
Good morning, Sheldon. And yes, starting with the under 48 kilo category, 14 judokas participating, and we have the number one seed, Gajiev of Kazakhstan. She's world ranked number 3, an Olympic bronze medalist, and she's, like I say, the top number seed. The number 2 seed is Rashonyi of Israel, world ranked 13, and 2 Grand Slam bronze medals under her belt. She's obviously in the bottom half and one to watch, but she's got one of the toughest groups. She has Kelmendi also in that group, and down at the bottom an unknown, Choi of China. So a little bit of an unknown of this one, but someone to watch later on. Then we go to the women's 52 kilo category, 13 judokas. Cohen is the number 1 seed, world ranked number 7, gold medalist in Baku Grand Slam, so on form, and she's up against Krasniqi of Kosovo, world 13th ranked and bronze medalist in Paris Grand Slam. Coming up to the men's 60 kilos. I've missed out on the women's 57s, where Jakova, we have a Kosovo, world rank 15, silver medalist in Tbilisi last year. She's come back from a serious injury, but confidence and everything over this year is starting to build back up and is on the number 1 position here today. But she has Nielsen in the bottom half, who's the number 2 seed, world rank 23 in Baku Grand Slam, bronze medalist. And then now we come on to the men's categories, where we have the men's 60 kilos, 17 competitors, and the number 1 seed, Tilovov of Uzbekistan, ranked number 12, Grand Slam gold medalist in last year, and his top opposition will be number 2 seed, Ibrayev of Kazakhstan, and again a Grand Prix champion. He's also got in that half a tough opposition, Ozlu of Turkey, Grand Slam medalist in Samsun last year. He's got to be Turkey's top contender for a medal, but Gajiev of Russia is also in that half with the cadet world champion. So again, a weight category and a really tough half. Last weight category is the men's under 66, 22 competitors, and it seems to be the Mongolians that are going to dominate quite nicely here. Davidov of Mongolia, number 1 seed, Tbilisi, he took the silver medal, and his teammate Dovdon, again of Mongolia, world number 6, bronze medalist in the Grand Slam last year in Tokyo 2016.
Okay, nicely timed, because we're going to go to mat number 2. It's the opening round of the men's under 60 kilo category. Daniel Ben David of Israel faces Doniyorbek Sultanbayev of Uzbekistan. It's Ben David in the white judogi, Sultanbayev in blue. I think was it last week that Ben David came unstuck in the first round after a really
yes,
good
it was
win.
A real disappointment for him, wasn't he? But there was a few upsets last week as well, wasn't there? A few of the top seeds that didn't perform as well as we expected.
He had a good win the week or 2 weeks before, when he won the European Open in Katowice. 6 contests he had there, and he won all 6. And then, unfortunately, first round knockout last week. You can't win them all, I suppose, but let's see how he gets on this week.
You should see he came in there with the drop Sianagi.
Nice little effort left-sided, wasn't it? Just got underneath.
Again, that lovely drop. So close, yes.
That was a little bit better, wasn't it?
A little bit sharper there, and just that little few inches deeper.
Sultanbayev, I haven't seen him before. Another Uzbek at 60 kilos. They've got a wealth of them. I think they've got the current Olympic bronze medalist, or one of them anyway. on their
Well,
on their squad at
Sultanbayev there has
16.
just picked up his second Shido, so piles a lot of pressure on himself in this opening round.
See, Ben David, with 2.5 minutes to go, doesn't have to do anything silly here.
No, he just has to be very strong in his grips and precise in his attacks.
Not get scored on and keep attacking.
Yes.
And leave it up to Sultanbayev to try and make the running. At that point, hopefully he will open himself up and give you an opportunity to score on him. You can't afford to be overly defensive, Sultanbayev. One slip and he'll be out. There's that little... It's right-sided this time. Ben David went right-sided with the Marotti Sianagi. He goes left again. What a
So
boy.
he's hitting them both sides there, and just to confuse them completely.
And he got past the defence of Sultanbayev, both left and right. That's a bit of a danger for Sultanbayev.
Just under 2 minutes left in this contest. And David, as you can see, with that right high collar grip there, controlling quite nicely, looking for the Ashiwaza as an opening in for that drop Sianagi. He tends to use his feet to create the opportunity and the space to drop underneath with the Sianagi. As we said, he's both left and right. Nice controlling once more that right hand on the lapel with the Ashiwaza, breaking his opponent's balance down into the Niwaza. Then we see a Taitoshi. Well, as you can see here, he's only got one hand at the moment. The elbow's been blocked, but he comes in against once more with that drop Sianagi. Again, a lot deeper on the attack. Again, the drop Sianagi Marotte, following now through into the Niwaza. That leg hooked behind his opponent's arm for the Sangaku turn. Trying to tie the legs up, as you can see, he's crossed over those legs, piling the pressure around the neck. Sutemi Waza, Tomonagi following through into the Niwaza. Sultanbayev there, good attack for him, but he still trails with the two Shidos on the board. 15 seconds left in this contest. The drop there was,
away,
yes, Ben David sort of anticipated that and blocked it with his right hand. And David again with that right high collar grip controls quite nicely this whole contest. So we're into the golden score now. Surprisingly no score at all and from Ben David. He's had some very strong attacks but just not managed to get the finish right. Again, his right collar.
He's been past the defence of Sultanbayev on a number of occasions. Well, this is going to be it now. Two 21-year-olds, Ben David and Sultanbayev. It's Ben David who comes off better on this occasion. 3 penalties picked up by Sultanbayev. But he never looked on any occasion in danger of throwing Ben David. Ben David just, staged, managed it nicely, controlled it well, and he allowed Sultanbayev to pile up the penalties.
In fact, within that 4 minutes, he had that Tomonagi, and that was the closest he got to throwing his opponent.
Coming up next, Sardor Nurlanbekov of Uzbekistan faces Vugar Shirinli of Azerbaijan. Nurlanbekov in the white judogi, Shirinli in blue. Getting to see a few youngsters.
Well, it's very close to the Europeans, so the top European seeds will be obviously making sure they're preparing for that the European Championships at the end of the month, and it would be difficult to start putting them into strong events like this just in case of injury. But it gives, like you say, the great opportunity for these young athletes to come out here and show what they're capable of doing on a world circuit.
Shirinli is now 24. I remember seeing him first as a 16-year-old. So he's been on the international circuit for quite a while.
Well, Shido apiece now with 3 minutes left in this contest. Shirinli looking the stronger of the two out there. He's got that lovely drop Sianagi there. Countered by Sutemi Waza. Nurlanbekov now trying to get past the legs here in the ground. Drops that leg down. He's halfway through. Needs to control the upper part of his opponent's body before trying to look at getting that leg out. As long as there's action there, the referee will let it go, but as soon as there's a pause, it will be a mate. But as you can see, he's got that head nicely tied up, and now the pressure is going not only on the back of the neck, but also on that leg.
I can tell you about one famous win that Vugar Shirinli had back in 2009 when I first saw him.
With Nomura. Yeah.
He threw Nomura twice for Wazari. In those days, the second Wazari was Wazari Awazeti Ipan. He trails by Wazari here with 1:40 odd left to go. Can you believe it? He beat the 3 times Olympic champion when he was only 16 years old, because that was back in 2009. 7 years ago now.
That's scary, isn't it?
Threw him twice. Well, it wasn't just once, he threw him twice.
Well, since then there's a lot more maturity in his judo, and we hope that most probably will come through and do a bit.
He never materialised. Never materialised. Just, you know, you thought, okay, if you can throw Nomura twice as a 16-year-old, there must be something.
Yes.
In all honesty, he's got a Grand Slam silver medal.
Yes.
That's it. Just didn't happen for him.
Well, it's starting to look a little bit scrappy out there. 3 minutes gone in this contest. Nurlanbekov there with Wazari, which keeps him in a comfortable lead at this moment. Sutemi Waza nicely controlled to get that finish at the end. Now works for the Jujikatami, as you can see, is on at this moment there, and a submission. So a nice finish there for Nurlanbekov.
This hasn't happened for Vugar Shirinli. What have we got coming up next then? Aybek Imashev and Kim Hee-yeon. Suppose we can hang around and see what happens here. Why not? Got the under. This is in the under 66 kilo category. Got the under 48 kilo category coming up soon. Fiola Kelmendi will face Melissa Cakmakli. We can stick around for that. There's Noah Minska as well. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look at Aybek Imashev of Kazakhstan. He faces Kim Hyun of the Republic of Korea. It's Imashev in the white judogi, Kim in blue.
Imashev, they're ranked world 54. Favorite technique is Kataguruma.
And just to fill in on that, somebody messaged me. Imashev, too sharp.
Lovely technique. What a nice finish within 15 seconds of contest.
The Korean getting caught absolutely cold there. I'm just going to say that somebody messaged me to say that Kataguruma was banned. There are no banned techniques apart from the Kani Basami. That's the only one that we banned.
Oh, they're part of the Gokyo and they're part of our learning and developing in our judo, but on an international circuit, the direct leg grab is something that is forbidden.
Right, David Reis of Portugal faces Arthur Tay of Kyrgyzstan. Is Reis in the white judogi, Tay in blue. And the point that Loretta was making there, it is the hand to leg that is banned, and it is still possible to complete Kataguruma, albeit in a modified version.
Yes, modified.
That's a modified Kataguruma.
So it won't look like the textbook style,
Absolutely.
but it can be modified to be able to use as a Kataguruma.
And we can still classify it as a waza that is Kataguruma. And I spoke to one of the Kodokan experts when we were in Tokyo about the classification of that waza. And he said when a waza changes fundamentally, then it can be named differently. But when it remains basically the same waza with a minor modification, it's still given the initial name. So Kataguruma without the hand is still Kataguruma.
Yes. We tend now to use more the head and the shoulder to direct rather than placing the hand in position. And the main part of that technique is that sleeve grip rather than the leg grip and the side rotation. Well, lovely as she was there, Koichi Gari. Tay moving quite nicely there, as you can see, with that right hand on the lapel. Moves very comfortably out there, creating some opportunities, and his opponent being light on his feet takes those feet from under him. Again, he takes that right hand on his opponent's left lapel. Well, both of these athletes nice and light to start with in this contest, creating space and movement. Race there with one Shido against him. T with the drop Sianagi. Just needed to use the upper body control as he dropped in. The drop was good, but then just didn't follow through with the control in the upper body. And picks up the second Shido for holding the pistol grip. But this time we get the lovely drop Sianagi. Ray's following through into the Niwazo. As you can see, he's got that arm. So he's holding on quite tightly there, trying to pull out for the Juji. Again, the pressure there. He's trying to draw it out, but you can just see that Tay has got his own lapel, which makes it very difficult to take the arm out. But scores a comfortable Wazari now with 1 minute and 45 seconds left in this contest. Tay again with that high collar grip. Nicely moves, keeping his opponent light on his feet, trying to pick him up and off with the Ashiwazas, and then following through with the Sianagis. Hips come through. Left his shoulder out a little bit too deep. Could have been a little bit dangerous there, as you could see. The counter was almost there from Reyes. Now Reyes is trying to tactically block his opponent's right sleeve so he doesn't get onto his left lapel. Got to be careful there with the grip though. A couple of times he's gripped up with the fingers to try and block. Now opts for round the back. So Reyes under pressure with the Wazari down, 2 Shidos on the board. Tay comes across with that Tayatoshi into a Makakomi. Just piling the pressure on even more with just over 30 seconds left in this contest. Again, oh, lovely Kochigari there. Once more, very light on his feet, opened his opponent to attack the feet. Now he follows through as the clock ticks away with the arm lock. Reyes looking up at the clock, but 7 seconds left, and it's looking very unlikely for a comeback from this young man from Portugal. Tay leading with that Wazari. Beautiful Kochigari, nice Ashiwazas, and a great first fight for Tay, who goes through to the second round of this men's under 66 kilos. So now we come to the 48 kilo category. 14 athletes participating in this weight category, and we have from Kosovo Kelmendi in the white, Cakmakli of Turkey in the blue. Bottom half of the 48 kilo draw. Very tough half. Rashonyi, number 1 seed of Israel in this half. I should say number 2 seed. Number 1 being Galbad Karak of Kazakhstan. Lovely hip throw there. Looking nice and deep.
It's early days yet then for Kelmendi and Cakmakli. They just got underway, yeah?
Yes, just started.
I wonder how Mr. Is it Xiao? I found out Xiao, the from Kyrgyzstan. I wonder how he got on. That was in the under 66 kilo category.
Cakmakli there doing extremely well against Kelmendi. And a couple of very strong attacks. Showing a lot of confidence out there against a very tough opponent.
Looks as though she just run out of ideas there and thought, I better try something. And then she put in that little Satemiozer effort that ended up getting her a penalty for a false attack.
Well, I think she's, right from the beginning, she's been under a little bit of pressure here. This young lady from Turkey, who so far has put in a great performance. Cakmakli there with that left hand that's been controlling quite nicely there. But Kelmendi now slipping the right hand over the top, drawing her opponent down, but loses the grip and back to square one again. So 1 minute and 25 seconds left in this contest. Cakmakli there picks up a Shido, so it's one apiece. So this has really been a very close match between these two athletes. A Shido apiece, very little between both of them to say who will manage to get through at this moment. First fight out for both athletes. Obviously a little bit apprehensive and cautious out there. Neither one of them wanting to make the major sacrifice and commitment and or mistake. With a half a minute left, it's looking like this could easily go to golden score. Cakmakli then looking for the knee waza. She hooks in behind the leg. Now opts to come under the waist. One thing that's got to be careful is that roll. As you can see, your arm went in very deep, and Kelmendi, who by the way is the cousin to Krasniqi. So what a family of judo players, and very strong ones at that. So we're now into the golden score. Well, this young lady from Turkey has done extremely well. First match out, and has controlled, I would say, right from the beginning. You see that left hand, she controls the shoulder quite nicely, drawing the elbow down and her opponent's shoulder in. Needs to put an attack through as Kelmendi drops underneath her under a little bit of pressure there. Kelmendi throws that arm over nice and deep and countered there, and that's a score. Cakmakli goes through for Turkey to the next round. Kelmendi. we have this first round again in the under 48 kilo category. Minska, Bezalel in the white, Guz of Turkey in the blue. I think they're just correcting the scoreboards, waiting for the care system to begin. I'm not quite sure what's happening here, but this is where it's quite difficult for the athletes, because they're waiting there very patiently, and obviously the nerves is churning inside them and just really want to get on with this. Well, the athletes just trying desperately to compose themselves. Well, it's something about, well, they're looking that obviously that win wasn't a Wazari. Going back into the golden score and into the 30 seconds that was into the goal, or 43 seconds that was the golden score. Obviously take away the Wazari that was scored. Oh, and what a turnaround there, a real change. Kelmendi had that opportunity to compose herself and turned it all around. So Kelmendi goes through to the second round of the under 48 kilo category. So now we have coming up in the first round of the under 48 kilos, representing Israel in the white, Minska, and representing Turkey in the blue, Guz. Minska seeded 4th in this tournament. And will be a real tough battle between herself and Rashonyi, who's in the top half of this weight category, who's ranked number 2 in the seeding. Minska, very strong right hand grip there, as you can see, lapel and sleeve rotating as you're dropping under her opponent, following it through into the Niwaza. Very swiftly done and looking to create an opportunity down there. Doesn't have much control on the upper part of the body as she tries to take the leg out. Well, the referee most probably realises that. For Shido now, the second going to Minska. Again, once more, a drop Sianagi, trying to drive off that side. Guz really having very little opportunity so far in this contest. Desperately trying to get past the defensives of Minska's right hand on that collar. Again, that drop Sianagi that we've seen a few times in this contest. 1 minute and 37 seconds left. So far been totally dominated by Minska, still not failing to get a score at this moment, but very close with the drop Sianagis that we've seen a few times already. Once more, that controlling right hand grip that goes onto the lapel, drawing her opponent's head down as she comes under with the Sianagi once more. Well, an attempt there from Guz left herself wide open, and Minska capitalised on that. Care system didn't think it was strong enough for a Wazari, but nevertheless, Minska anticipated it very well as she went into the Niwaza, now with 45 seconds left. As with 2 Shidos on the board, one more would result in the Hansokumaki. As she attempts a Kosota. And there's Minska there with the drop Sianagi once more, a little bit deeper. Broke her opponent's balance, got that lift, but didn't get that finish at the end. Well, there's been a lot of work here with Minska. As she looks, as you can see, over at the scoreboard. Seems to be contented to just possibly go to the golden score. But maybe it won't get to that, as this Turkish contender really hasn't had much opportunity and doesn't look to have the capability of coming through against a strong opponent. Minska once more, again with that very strong right-handed grip, and that's been what's troubled Gus all the way through this contest. Now we're into the golden score. There's a real perseverance with that drop Sianagi. Not really interested in following through into the Niwaza. Minska looking very fit out there as she goes back to the start position. Takes her grip once more. Drops under opponent. Now this time looks for an opportunity down there. Well, there's been a lot of work there for Minska, who's making her opponent look very passive out there, and I think we're just looking at the last Shido going to be awarded, and sadly for Gus, for Turkey, it will be on her side and will take her out of this competition. Now we have Gurbanli of Azerbaijan in the white, Choi of China in the blue. Well, Choi there with the first grip, very strong. Right to right. Lovely drop Sienagi for Gurbanli. Great start for the Azerbaijan. Scoring a Wazari in less than half a minute. Choi looking like she's under a little bit of pressure there. Gurbanli driving forward for that right hand lapel grip. But grips up wrong and picks up the first Shido. Choi with a lovely Osota just off the side there. Well, Choi looks to be coming alive out here in this contest. Has built up a bit of confidence now, especially, but there was a very poor drop. And I think she will pick up a Shido for that, and yes, she does. A little bit unnecessary, but oh, and a lovely Harai into the Makakomi. Well, this is somebody we don't really know too much of, but has put on a great performance in this contest. Choi of China started off a little bit slow, but has now started to come into this contest. The Osota and the Harai, good combination of techniques. Well, this has started to become a real battle between these two athletes. Osota into the Makakomi, a little bit untidy in the upper part of the body. Didn't have the necessary grip to finish it, but again, a real threat. Ochigari then countered there. Gurbanli. Well, just under a minute left in this contest. A Wazari apiece. Both picking up a Shido each. And a lovely lift there. Real sacrifice, showing real strength against her opponent. And this is the difference you've seen between these both athletes. The Azerbaijan, very, very powerful. Choi, very skillful with their Ashiwazas and the Osotas, the Harai Goshis. Choi staying very light on her feet, and that's the danger that she faces.
Just looked as though Gurbanli had that little bit more experience over Xiao at the end there. Picked up the 2 scores, managed to take it to the end of the contest. It's the first time that we've seen this particular Chinese at under 48 kilos, Xiao Chen. But she's not quite, ready for this kind of level, because Aisha Gurbanli is not the sharpest tool in the box. I know that's going to sound a bit harsh, but we're not talking about the really top level. And if Xiao can't get past Gurbanli, then she's going to struggle at, in later rounds. In any case, it's Gurbanli who goes through to the next round. Here's Loretta.
Thank you.
Going to stay here. Ariel Bezalel of Israel versus Busra Ozdek of Turkey. It's Bezalel in the white judogian, Ozdek in the
it'd be interesting to see how the 52 start off.
Yeah. What have we got after that? Chen and Tas, Sultanova and Hajiyeva, and then Becky Livesey and Buket Nurchan. Those are all the fights coming up here on mat number 2. You can, of course, click whichever mat you want. You've got 2 mats going here. Click on 1 and you'll get mat 1. Click on 2, you get 2. And if you click on the little icon that has that microphone, then you'll get Loretta and myself wherever we happen to be, whichever mat we happen to be watching.
Well, the winner of this match will go to meet Krasniqi, who's the number 2 seed in this weight category. Again, it's a very close match. Azali, the stronger grips at this moment, as we would expect. The Israelis are very, very strong, very physical fighters. As you can see, left hand on the lapel, hooks in with the Ochuchimata and finishes there for it on. So a nice combination, technique, very precise, with very little effort.
Bezalel. I think there could be some ructions coming in the Israeli team shortly after that performance. She looks pretty sharp.
She did look very strong out there. Nice upright, good technique, that Uchichimata combination that we see quite often. But yeah, we'll see how she performs if she gets through, because we've got Cohen, who's the number 1 seed at the top part of this draw. We have Chen here in the white and Taz from Turkey in the blue.
A very good morning to Richard Britton, who is watching at home. Good morning to you. I hope everything is okay with the picture and sound quality. I know that initially my microphone wasn't working well, but I hope that that is all in order now. Apparently Loretta's voice sounds perfect, so I'm glad to hear that. Richard says good sound on that one.
Taz there looking for an opportunity in the Niwaza. Wasn't really sure which way she was wanting to go, with either the Sangaku turn or the Shimiwaza. Has a slight height advantage over her opponent. She's got that very strong left-handed grip. Osot into the Makikomi, nice technique, very strong. Just didn't have that pull on the sleeve to rotate her opponent over. Chen now looking for the Niwaza.
Ooh.
Started to threaten her opponent. Held a little bit of pressure there on Taz.
She had the right idea with the turnover. She was part way there and then lost control of the top half that allowed Taz to escape.
Shen with that left hand collar grip, looking for the counter.
There's their chance for a turnover again. Let's see how Taz copes with this one.
Shen looks very comfortable down there as she tries to create an opportunity for herself. She hooks on that elbow. Referee not giving as much time down there.
2 or 3 more sets to see if that second pull was going to result in anything. I'd have just left that little bit longer.
As you can see, Taz there with that left hand very deep over the back, as she was as the Osota. Well, she's got the advantage of height and she does use the right techniques, just doesn't have that real upper body control and power to generate through the attack.
Missed there, but the Uchimata effort almost got countered.
Taz there still remaining with a lead of a Wazari on the board. 1 minute and 17 seconds left in this contest. Shen still looking dangerous though out there. Taz with the Osota Makikomi. Starting to look tired. The body language is just letting us know that there's less control in those attacks. Taking that little bit longer to get up. These sort of signals that go out to their opponents is just giving them more and more confidence to come back and change the pace of the contest. Once more the Makikomi there and just doing enough, but looks very scrappy now. Shen picking up the Shido. Once more that Osota Makikomi that we keep seeing.
She's going to go there too often.
And the counter, as we see there from Chen. She was waiting for the Oso to Makakomi.
Danger now because she just picked up that one penalty for passivity. I can see the Makikomi drop coming again. Or if she could have stayed on her feet, there really wasn't any power in there. Just sat on her backside and that'll be enough now. Taz is going to take this.
Well, Taz is really all over the place. She's fallen around on her feet. She's looking very tired after that match. She survives it though and goes through to the second round of the under 52s.
Right, we've got another contest in the under 52 kilo category coming up next. Kelly Diyorova of Uzbekistan faces Liu Ben of China. Kelly Diyorova in white, Liu in blue. Well, given that the last time we saw a Chinese fighter out here, Xiao Chen, she wasn't that impressive. All right, okay, yeah, sorry, beg your pardon. Let's go down to see what's happening on mat number 1 if we can, with Kelly Diyorova and Liu. Let's just have a quick check on mat number 1. Single Shido. The Chinese trails by him. What I was saying was that Xiao Chen wasn't that impressive, so I suspect that these are all new young fighters that the Chinese are trying out here. They've got their continental championships coming up soon. The Europeans have got theirs, so we haven't got, quite the top flight athletes here. It's just a single Shido against Liu. Kelly Diyorova is going to have to go into golden score to sort this one out. Right, let's go back down to mat number 2 then. We'll see Kelly Diyorova's teammate, Sultanova. She's up against Hajiyeva of Azerbaijan. It's Sultanova in the white judogi, Hajiyeva in blue. There's no score. Well, just as I was saying, there's no score. Sultanova manages to catch Hajiyeva and now apply the Kazuri Kezagatami.
Very strong indeed there.
Finish that one off nicely, Sultanova. A little bit too strong for Hajiyeva, I'm afraid. Nargiz Hajiyeva of Azerbaijan going out in the first round. We've got Becky Livesey of Great Britain coming up against Buket Mercan of Turkey. It's Livesey in the white judogi, Mercan in blue. After that, we'll be back to round 2 of the under 60 kilo category, so stay with us here on mat 2.
Livesey here in the white, Mercan of Turkey in the blue. Attempt there of Sutemi Waza. Becky there attempting a turnover there in the knee waza, one of her up and coming athletes from Great Britain. Uchimata. Combination, good start, and piling quite a bit of pressure on Murkan. Okay, then as you can see with that right left hand in very deep, comes across, strong attack, doesn't opt to go into the Niwaza this time, still maintains the pressure in the Tachiwaza. Left hand on the lapel there as she controls quite nicely. Opponent's right hand comes round the back. Livesey changes it, comes across, a nice attack and scores the Wazari. Livesey there with a very strong left-handed grip. Draws her opponent to her knees as she follows through it into the ground. Comes under. Nice turnover there as she comes round the head. Ties herself up maybe a little bit too deep there. Once more, Livesey comes across, steps over, follows through into the Niwaza Sangaku turnover. Follows it through nicely, gets her leg caught up, but pulls out that arm for the arm lock, or opting for the tie up. Coming back, catching the head, working towards the Osakomi as she starts to pull that leg out. Some good Niwaza. Just loses the control of the upper body. Once more, Livesey looks for an opportunity down there in the ground. As you can see, ties up. Strong indeed. Tries to get past those legs. Murkan desperately trying to control her opponent's hands to avoid the legs coming apart. There, we've got it to the ankle and the foot's just getting close. Well, a drop there, very poorly executed. 17 seconds left in this contest. Livesey with the Wazari leading quite comfortably throughout this contest. Once again tries to get past the legs, but looks up at the clock to see that the time is almost ended. So that's a great win for Becky Livesey, who goes through to the second round of the women's 57 kilos. She'll be up against Ibrayev from Kazakhstan later on.
We've got the under 60 kilo category round 2 beginning now, and it's a chance for us to see for the first time this morning the number 2 seed from Kazakhstan, Rustam Ibrayev, the Kazakh fighter in the white judogi. He's up against Jagaldorj Amabold of Mongolia. Jagaldorj in the white judogi, Ibrayev in blue.
Libeer there looking very confident out in the opening seconds of this contest. As you can see, that left hand is trying to get onto the collar. Some strong gripping actions out there from both athletes. Ibrayev. Sutemiwaza follows through, looking for the opportunity in the Niwaza. Jagaldorj there of the Mongolian with a drop Sianagi. One of the strongest attacks so far from him. Finds himself in an uncomfortable position down in the Niwaza. Nice attack there from Ibrayev. This time under pressure from the Mongolian in the Niwaza. Tries to get past the legs, but Mate Kochigari there from the Mongolian. A real change of pace here from the Mongolian. Steps up a little bit more now, piling the pressure on Ibrayev. Kazakhstan desperately trying to get that left hand high on the collar, but the Mongolian takes the sleeve and drops under his opponent.
And for Ibrayev to pick up a penalty. I think Sharon must have heard me. He does pick up a penalty for passivity. As Loretta was saying, it's the tempo, the changing tempo from Jagaldorj that did that. He drew that penalty.
Osota Makikomi.
Nice effort.
Jagaldorj there with the drop Sianagi, trying to follow it through into the Niwaza. Well, there was a lot of work there in that last 30 seconds from the Mongolian. Now we're into the golden score. Shido piece. Up until now, quite an exciting but open match. Ibrayev, cross grip, high collar. Ibrayev takes the second Shido for breaking of the grip.
Well, that pressure paid off. Just kept himself busy and made it difficult for Ibrayev. And Ibrayev then, as a result of that, made two errors. One in normal time, the second in golden score. It was the second one that ended up counting for him,
yes,
and putting him out. Right, second round, Bekir Ozlu, last year's winner here, now faces Sakavat Gajiev. It's Ozlu in the white judogi, Gajiev in blue.
Well, Ozlu Samson last year took the gold medal. He's up against the cadet, a former cadet world champion.
I think Gajiev is going to be a different proposition than, let's say, Vugar Shirinli this morning. We were talking about.
A lovely, lovely
bad turn.
Ochigari.
Okay, yeah, sorry. And there's a big action. You've got to get in there.
Oh yeah, it was.
no, that's
sense that.
yeah.
Ozlu out there looking very, very powerful in his attacks and his grips, very strong. Oh, well, you just sense Ozlu is preparing himself for something big as he comes in every time. Very strong grips, powerful attacks each time. Gajiev comes through, a lovely counter there. Well anticipated from the Russian, scoring a Wazari. Now this changed the dynamics of this match completely now, with halfway to go in this contest. Well, Ozlu was in the driving seat. Oh, and the hips come through and whoa. Well, when he puts the attacks in, they're very powerful. The Russian coming in, as you can see, with the lapel inside, brings the hips through. From there he has that uchimata uchigari, but he also has the counter around the back, so he can change in different directions and be very powerful off that change. Once more, as you can see, Ozlu comes round the back, that right hand very deep on the belt. Gajiev under a little bit of pressure there.
He's picked up 2 penalties already.
Now the one thing we know, he just can't hang on to that score. He has to still engage in the contest. One more would result in the hand Cakmakli. Was that drop enough to award him another Shido?
Yeah, I'm afraid
it was.
So. Takes it well though. Screaming and shouting about it. He came up with the throw, but the greater map presence from Bekir Ozlu proved too much for him.
Yes, that maturity you could
It made him make a couple of errors, and those errors did for him. We saw that in a few contests earlier, but just that little bit more presence on the mat pressured fighters into making mistakes. It's the second time we're going to see Daniel Ben David today. He's up this time against Ahmet Shahin Kaba of Turkey. It's Kaba in the white judogi, Ben David in blue, and here's Loretta again.
Kaba straight out there on the attack, following through, looking for any opportunity. Dan is in lovely turnover there, trying to control the movement as he went over. Again, the Sangaku turnover. Kaba looking very strong in the Niwaza and confident down there. Ben David under a slight pressure in the opening seconds of this contest. Needs to settle into this match. Kosota following through. Opts to come straight back up into the Tachiwaza.
Israeli president of the Israeli Judo Association is sitting just behind mat 2. Moshe Ponti having a close look at what's going on. Missed with that lunge there.
Well, he attempted for the Sianagi and tried for the Koichigak, but just missed the leg completely. Didn't leave himself close enough.
Holding on to one side of the jacket with both hands for that little bit too long. Picks up a penalty.
Oh, lovely attack there from Ben David. Drops Xiao off to the side.
Surprised he didn't come up with a score there.
I'm surprised, yes. It took him right off to the side. For me, it looked like a Wazari.
Wow.
Oh, a lovely Uchimata attempt there from Kaba. Well, the halfway mark now in this contest. Lovely attack once more from Kaba. Well, that Taitoshi that tends to slip into the Uchimata, we've seen that twice now, and both times look very threatening, so close to scoring.
Two nice movements there. The first effort from Ben David with the Tayatoshi that Loretta just mentioned, and then Kaba immediately followed that up with his own attack. Two good movements there. Both fighters looking
it's
for
a very open match here, and can't write either one of them off at this moment. There's some real moments of excellence out there. But as we go into the latter stage of this contest, when it's such a hard match, physically challenging, it really is down to conditioning as well. And Ben David out there looks very comfortable still, with 1 minute and 17 seconds to go. Kaba, as you can see there, that high left hand grip creeping down the back of the jacket, controlling quite nicely his opponent. And David slightly under pressure there, and that's engaged. And the referee obviously asking the Turkish coach to leave. Apparently he's been warned. Well, warned once, second time it'll be second striking out for the referee, for the coach. Kaba, flurry of attacks there. Very poor one, and that part, the Shido will be awarded possibly for that. The referee decides to let that one go. Oh, and as left hand went over the top from Kaba, he left himself wide open. Ben David, the nice Hajiyeva, didn't follow through with the upper body control, but nevertheless a nice attack. As you can see, the Israeli president for judo there, helping as well with instruction. Well, that's the mistake. Kaba's got to be very careful. He came in for a forward attack and tried to come out halfway through, and Ben David was there waiting for him. So 4 seconds left, and David just off the mat there for some assistant.
Yeah, I was thinking about that score. I thought that Ben David had come up with a score, but
well, it was that Osota off to the side, wasn't it? It looked like a Tayatoshi, but he actually switched direction of it and did get a score. Well, from us, it looked like a score from this angle.
just out of camera shot, the head refereeing director Jan Schneiders was just explaining to one of the referees just a little tip about signalling, you know, when and how you give your signals. And she coincided, she timed her signals, just mistimed the signals, and was giving the signal for mate, which is just holding your hand with the palm out straight with the palm up, fingers pointing upward, and the signal for a choke that was going across the chin, and just that is just the side of the hand, inside part of the hand, just touching the chin there. She timed those, and she did them together. You're supposed to do mate and then say choke. She got them together. It was like this. time was a little bit off.
Well, after your little demonstration, I can see
Yeah,
why it
why it
was off.
Yeah. But best to avoid that particular
Definitely.
combination of
Yes,
signals.
yeah.
Right, well, Ben David's been tidied up, if that's what you can call it. He's had that little bit of strapping around the neck, cheeks and onto the nose, and it's all for a tiny little scratch where they had to put a bit of plaster for a bit of blood, and then they've had to strap that on. Almost caught him with the Hajiyeva. They brought us some Turkish tea. I don't know how that's going to go down. We've got two English people here who know a little bit about tea. Give them the benefit of the doubt. 20 seconds into golden score, and now it's Kaba's turn to put some pressure on Ben David with a bit of Hajiyeva. I'm sure that that is uncomfortable for Ben David, because he's just pressing down on the nose bridge, and well, it may be helpful to help him draw in even more air, you know.
As an opponent looking at him, it must be
slightly off-putting. Yeah.
Really off-putting. But they've had this opportunity to just compose themselves, and both of them are very deep in thought at this moment. Kaba looks the stronger of the two out here now in this golden score.
He lunged at him at the beginning with that,
he was up for
with
it
that
straight
Kouchi
away.
after the Uchimata. This time it was straight to the Kouchi with that lunge again and missed him. But he's just moving him, yeah.
Uchimata there again. He's piling in the attacks. He's done about 3 very strong attacks there now.
Ben David's got to come back here. Can't afford Kaba to build up too many. He does, just with one hand. It's enough for Kaba to move to one side and defend, so we'll keep going.
What was quite obvious in the first part of this contest is that Kaba was looking tired out of the two. Ben David was looking very strong. It looked like he had a lot more in the tank to keep going. And these are the sort of signals that you don't want to be showing to the referee and how you're actually feeling out there, other than being positive.
You get the feeling that that was Ben David's turn to attack there.
He left himself wide open there for that turnover.
It's gone across the face as well. That would be the hand and then the and then the signal.
Two very strong refereeing signals.
Minute and a half. It's going pretty quickly, isn't it, the golden score?
And I think the longer Ben David is out there, the better opportunity he's got.
Almost caught him with a Tsurikomiyashi there, just stepped in with the left, and the right was quickly followed. Who is it that's being asked to calm down? The Israeli coach. Yeah. Almost 2 minutes of golden score, and it's been a good golden score, enjoyable to watch. Little Sutemiwaza. No panic from the referee here, just letting the fighters get on with it.
Well, they're both engaging all the time. Very strong grips, very powerful attacks when they do come in.
That's okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
It was still strong, but Ben David obviously doing a little bit of refereeing out there as well, and he's got to be careful on that, because the last thing a referee wants is to be told how to do their job. He needs to stay focused on the match.
Actually was Makikomi.
It's starting to become more and more predictable now, the movements that are being made out here.
Good little battle. 2:20 already.
6.5 minutes in total.
There's
again, the Kouchi just leaves that driving leg out far too wide. And
oh dear. It was going to go.
Yes. I'm not quite sure if it was strong enough for a...
Oh, they've cancelled it.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that strong. There was a real attempt. It was just his legs were too short. He needs to engage a little bit closer before doing the Kouchi, so he's got more of a drive off that back leg. And that's what's missing with the Kouchi.
Uchimata. Ben David has got to come up with the score, come up with an attack now, but Kaba may be too tired to beat him to it. Keep going.
Oh, so close.
Yeah.
So close. A great attack there from Ben David.
The more the fighters time their attacks well, the less the referee has to get involved with it. He's done a really good job here. And that, the time before, when he was told to give the penalty.
Yes. So close.
Would that have been a score in old money?
Coca. Going right back to old money.
Well, they think it was.
I thought he spun out of it.
Yeah.
I thought he spun out. I thought he did well to get off that technique, but be interesting to see that played back, how he did land. But from the angle we were, it looked like he was on his front. It was the shoulder that hit the ground. But they feel that it was enough for Wazari called, and Kaba.
It was a close run thing.
Well, it was a very tough match, and it could have gone either way. Both deserved to go through to the next round.
The landing is the thing that you've got to look at. He can roll off it, but it's when he lands, that's the important thing. And they gave it on that landing. On the mat now, Dovdon Altansuk of Mongolia and Sardor Nurlayev of Uzbekistan. It's Dovdon in the white judogi, Nurlayev in blue. And just on that Kaba, Ben David contest, what would have been Yuko in the past now counts for Wazari. And if you're down on your side, and they give that. They would have given that in the past. Dovdon finishing off Nurlayev. Fairly quick time there. Is he the number 2 seed?
He's the number 2 seed that goes through to the next round.
29 now, I think. Or 27 or something, I think.
Well, he had a bye in the first round that took him into the second, and that now takes him into the quarterfinals of this under 66.
So, Dovdon disposing of Nurlayev. Who have we got coming up now? Sinan Sandal of Turkey faces Aybek Imashev of Kazakhstan, and we saw Imashev throw beautifully in his earlier contest. So it's Sandal in the white judogi, Imashev in blue.
Imashev in his first match defeated Kim of Korea. Sandal had a bye in the first round, so this is his first match out in this contest, in this competition. Sandal looking very busy out there, piling quite a bit of pressure on the Kazakhstan. He's just really trying to calm him down and take control of this contest. Kazakhstan is trying to do that in the Niwaza. Drop Xiao there from Sandal, again looking very busy in this contest, controlling this match in the Tachiwaza. As we know, this is Sandal's first match out in this competition. Looks to be really fighting out here on nervous energy, the actual speed of this contest he's going with, and he's got to be careful he doesn't burn himself out throughout the match. Almost halfway, and the work rate he's put out there is quite exhausting to watch. Oh, and a lovely lift there, a 50-50 really, but Sandal looked like he lost a bit of control, but managed to. It was one of those both that Ibrayev there trying to set up as he comes over the top. Left himself wide open, the counter was there. And Sandal goes through to the next round.
Schmilov is on the mat at the moment. The Israeli in the white judogi. This is in the under 66 kilo category. Round 2, Schmilov had a bye in the first round. Now he's on the mat against Boshgeldi Danatarov of Turkmenistan. It's Schmilov in the white judogi, Danatarov in blue.
Danatarov there picking up the first Shiro in this contest. Lovely drop Sianagi there. Schmilov following it into the Osakomi. Tying his opponent up very nicely there and looking strong in the hold. unlikely Danatarov will get out of that technique.
So, Schmilov into the quarter-final. Well, here comes a really interesting competitor, Abdulzhalilov of Russia. Faces Artur Toy of Kyrgyzstan. I went round the back to ask the Kyrgyz team how to pronounce this T-E, and they said it's almost like saying Toy.
Toy.
Yeah, Artur Toy. So, what's that one? We can have a look at this. Oh, there is Davidoj Tumurkhaleg and Igor Mugdisyan. I think we might have to go down to mat number 2 because it's not the number 1 seed, Davidoj Tumurkhaleg. Let's go to mat number 1. Beg your pardon, Chief. It's Davidoj in the white judogi, Mugdisyan in blue, Mongolian in white, and the Russian in blue. Enjoy this one. This for a place in the first of the quarter-finals.
Well, the largest weight category of the day, 22 judokas participating in the under 66 kilograms. Davidoj, number 1 seed for Mongolia, 3 in the world ranking, and a silver medal in Tbilisi last week. Well, Davidoj there's got to be careful with that cross grip. See him with the sleeve at this moment, comes across to take the lapel on the same side. Very strong, very powerful out there, the Mongolian, the number 1 seed in this weight category here today. Both 1 and 2 seeds are from Mongolia. They'll be hoping to get the final positions, gold and silver. Dovdon already into the quarter-finals. Davidoj there with that right hand high collar grip, controlling quite nicely as he takes the sleeve, drawing his opponent's head down, trying to break up his opponent's balance, making him look very untidy, and he picks up a Shido for that, so tactically a good move there for the Mongolian. This time he takes that left hand on the lapel. One minute left in this contest. The Russian really under a lot of pressure with 2 Shidos against him. The Mongolian there, as you can see with that right hand, crosses over.
That last one wasn't that clever though from Dovdon. He put in 2 attacks and the third one was a bit lame.
And picks up the second Shido. Now 2 apiece. One more on either side would be a hand Cakmakli. Not the most comfortable positions to either one of these athletes to be in. And half a minute left.
That was careless from the Mongolian. Having done the hard work and just edged ahead, and then the third part of that attack was so weak that the referee had no choice but to penalise it.
Well, Dovdon has to be very careful. He's putting a lot of work out there, but when you put that much effort in,
Magdisian, there wasn't anything really that great about the attacks. One of which ended up in a false attack.
yes,
And yet the Russian has ended up getting put out on the back of Dovdon, having put in a series of attacks that has left Magdisian looking passive, albeit that one of the series ended up in the Mongolian with a Shido for a false attack. He's mugged him.
yeah. And for someone who's the #1 seed, not an impressive way to move forward, is it?
No, but it's super clever, really clever from Dovdon. Look busy and end up with getting your opponent a Shido. And even when he was busy, one of those busy periods was a false attack, and he still came out looking as though the sun was shining from that particular place.
Didn't seem phased at all by it.
No, he knew what he was doing. Right, who have we got on the map now? Kyrgyzstan and Turkey. It's in the under 66 kilo category. Let's have a look and see who the 2 fighters are. This is the second round. Bektur Mambetov of Kyrgyzstan faces Tugrul Donmez of Turkey. Mambetov in the white judogi, Donmez in blue.
Mambetov there, first grip in, but just left himself open for that Makakomi. Donmez of Turkey. Quite an aggressive start for this young man from Turkey. As you can see over there at the background, the supporters club behind him all the way. Lovely turnover there from Mambetov. Oh, he's got that left hand on the lapel that he favours. The left hand on lapel, and he throws that right hand high up onto the collar, drawing his opponent's head down. And Ozer Makakomi, fantastic attack. Got to be a score there. Definitely got to be a score. And looks a little bit surprised that maybe we're just seeing whether it's an ippon or a wazari, but very impressive. It went over looking an ippon. And no score. Surprising how that worked out. Again, a lovely takedown following through into the Niwaza. Scoring a wazari. Mambetov there, now in a comfortable lead with a Wazari on the board at just under 2 minutes to go, halfway. Mambetov there, very exciting athlete to watch. Very versatile out there. Again gets that left hand on the lapel, throws that right hand over the top when he can. Donmez trying to control that right, but as you can see, Donmez desperately trying to come back into this contest with a minute and a half as he tries to counter his opponent. These Mambetov there looking the stronger still of these two. And Hajiyeva, one direction, throwing under with a drop Sianagi to the other direction, following through into the Niwaza. As you see, he's got that arm, trying to pile the pressure on there as he rotates him over, still trying to draw out that arm each time. Levering on the arm, now using the leg to try and add a little bit more force. Well, it's been a tough match out there for Donmez of Turkey. He's battled all the way through to stay in touch with this contest. Well, a very poor drop there for Mambetov. He's got to be careful. He doesn't really need to be that active. He just needs to have a lot more control and composure in this contest. And the clock ticks away, so he'll be quite happy to stay down there, but one Wazari on the board. Mambetov just needs to stay in control and get a good grip, which he's always had throughout this contest, but the pressure was piled on there from Donmez. So the final minute of that contest, and Donmez's desperate plea to come back into this contest failed. Mambetov goes through to the next round. Into the quarterfinals, and he will meet the Mongolian number 1 seed, Davidoj.
Mambetov takes it for Kyrgyzstan. I wonder what happened with that toy again. Did we see the toy fight? Can't remember. I think we may have been on another mat. Right, who have we got coming up now? Azmat Mukhanov of Kazakhstan faces Park Jongmyong of the Republic of Korea. It's Mukhanov in the white judogi, Park in blue. Yeah, I think Kyrgyzstan sent 2 fighters in the under 66 kilo category. Mambetov just winning out there over Donmez will face Davdoj Temurkhaleg in the first of the quarterfinals, and then in the the bottom half of the draw. Artur Toy lost out to Abdulzhalilov of Russia. So Abdulzhalilov will face Baruch Schmilov of Israel in the last of the quarterfinals. I think he will come up with a score there. Mukhanov. And then the number 2 seed Dovdon Altansuk will face Sinan Sandal of Turkey. We've just got the quarterfinal in Pool B to sort out. And this is the first of the second round contests that will give us at least one of those quarterfinalists. Mukhanov in white and Park in blue. Gurbanli has just lost her quarter-final down on mat 2 in the under 48 kilo category. We're already into the quarter-finals down there. I know we like to stick with, actually, having said that, we do want to have a look at Distria Krasniqi. She's up next on mat number 2. So we're going to take a jump down to mat number 2. If you want to continue watching Mukhanov and Park, then just click on mat number 1. But we're going to see the quarterfinal in the under 52 kilo category between Distria Krasniqi of Kosovo. She faces Ariel Bezalel of Israel. It's Krasniqi in the white judogi, Bezalel in blue. This may prove a little bit too tough for Bezalel. They've got similar hairstyles and similar hair colouring. Look. Ochigari from Krasniqi, and then she's looking to go right-sided. Little foot tap there on the outside, and then she thought about the Ochigari. Comes back with another Ochigari that has Bezalel defending and stepping off. And the referee just continues and is stuck over in this near left corner. Krasniqi shaping to go right-sided. Bezalel looking to go left. So it's that left versus right stance that you're seeing at the moment. Uchimata from Krasniqi. She's going to have to come up with something fairly quickly that will break down that shape that Bezalel has, because the Israeli's quite comfortable there, strong on that left side. Lost control of Bezalel's right sleeve. Needed to have that to pull that across her own body, Krasniqi, but it wasn't there. 2:30 odd left to go. Nice start from the newcomer on the Israeli team, Bezalel. Twenty-one years old, Ariel Bezalel. Lost to Charlene Van Snick in the first round of the in the quarter-final of the Baku Grand Slam. Wow. Avi Uta had defeated.
Well, Krasniqi there just picking up a penalty. That was just that high collar grip, drawing the head down, but really not following it through with anything. More of a negative ploy to just make her opponent look quite passive. And once more you see it there, but this time she's got that sleeve and she's using it to pull forward to try and break the balance, but looking very powerful out there.
Bezalel lost to Distria Krasniqi a few months ago when they went head-to-head in Sofia at the European Open.
One thing I'm always impressed with the Israeli team, they produce some really fine athletes, very strong, and they compete so hard out there. Wazari scored. Krasniqi now taking a comfortable lead with 1 minute to go in this contest, and follows it into the Osakomi and ties that up very nicely.
There you go. Well, we will see Ariel Bezalel again, but it'll be in the repechage contest. Distria Krasniqi of Kosovo wins out here. She goes into the second of the semi-finals. Takes her place in the second of the semi-finals. We'll see her. What have we got coming up next then? Oh, it is. It's the next quarter-final. Tina Sikic of Croatia faces Merv Taz of Turkey. It's Sikic in the white judogi, Taz in blue, and here is Loretta Kusaktoil.
Well, Taz had her first opening match of the day. It was a great performance against Shen of Chinese Taipei. She defeated her opponent with an Osota Makagomi. Very impressive technique. And obviously to the delight of this home crowd. Sikic from Croatia is her first match of the day. So it's her first warm-up against a Turkish opponent. What I like about Taz is that she's quite a tall opponent for this weight category at 52s, but she uses that to her advantage, those long limbs. She's got a very strong left-handed collar grip. Those legs come in for the good combination techniques of the Ouchi Uchimata, Kosota, Kouchi. Stays always upright and very strong looking. Croatian, as you can see, is holding that sleeve grip down, that left hand, so it's causing Taz a few problems out there at this moment. Needs that left hand to come up high, and at the moment you can see it's just been held down tactically by the Croatian, who knows that that's obviously the biggest weapon of Taz's. Well, Shido piece now with 1 minute and 49 seconds left in the contest. An attempt there of a Makakomi from Taz as she follows through into the Niwaza, continuing the roll. Did seem to be a bit of a pause there, so don't think the referee will call the Wazari. You see once more Sikic taking that sleeve, but this time she picks up the Shido for the negative hold. It was looking that little bit too obvious there what she was attempting to do. Croatian now looking, as we know, very clever down in the groundwork, and she looks very confident down there as she digs away, looking for two options, either the Osakomi, which she's just opted there, or the arm lock. Once again, the Croatian holding that sleeve, as you can see, of Taz. But she's got it back now, and again starts to threaten her opponent. 30 seconds left in this quarter-final, a place in the semi-final of the under 52 kilos. Sikic there, the Sangaku attempt. So it's been a hard match for both these athletes who've battled away to the last 11 seconds in this quarter-final. Neither one of them are closer to getting into the semi-final.
She was really tired in her last contest. Mav Taz.
Well, she struggled again in this last 15-20 seconds, and now we're into golden score.
The last thing that Taz wanted was to go into golden score. She can't avoid it now.
That left hand again, high collar, that's the threat for Taz. She comes in, holds on nice and deep, but she lets it go there. She attempts the Makakomi. Looks a little bit scrappy out there, but that's the strengths of Taz, is that left hand when she can get on the high collar. Croatian again taking that left sleeve tactically. That was the killer for Taz. But once more the Makakomi comes in.
And it's strong enough, isn't it? Just about strong enough.
It's strong enough. It could have left her a little bit open there in the Niwaza. Her head came up.
You're right about it. Just looking untidy at the end. You know, it's just got that unfinished look to it.
An attempt there of the Osotogari.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Sikic let that one slip, to be honest.
she piled on the pressure at the last bit in the last minute of that contest. She tactically she knew exactly how to fight this match with that left hand sleeve control. She picked up a Shido halfway through for making it look too negative, and after that started to play a chasing game. For me, in the golden score, she looked stronger, but just played into the hands of Taz, who then picks up the win and goes into the semi-final.
Amazing. Even the coach thinks it's amazing, because she was almost dead on her feet in the previous contest. Far less going into golden score for this one, and she still managed to come out the winner. All right, we've got a quarter-final in the under 57 kilo category coming up now. Team Nelson Levy of Israel faces Sanobar Sultanova of Uzbekistan. Nelson Levy in the white judogi, Sultanova in blue. Down on that number one, Otkonsetse Galbadrak, the number one seed in the under 48 kilo category, is not having it all her own way. Gulkanda Senturk is keeping her busy. There are 20 odd seconds left in that contest, and there's no score there. Both fighters have picked up a penalty apiece. Simba Nelson Levy has scored Wazari and moved smoothly into Ozer, where she attempted the arm lock. Sultanova has lost her hair grip. She'll tidy that up now, and then we'll get back underway. So Wazari the lead for Nelson Levy. Scored inside the first minute.
Well, Nilsson, this is her first match, had a bye in the first round. Coming out very strong considering this is her first match. And they're looking for the arm lock, and it's on. And Nilsson goes into the semi-final of the under 57s.
Galbadrak needed 20 seconds of golden score to win out in her contest. She's into the semi-final of the under 48 kilo category. Let's see who it is that we've got in the under 57 kilo category now. Sevara Nishanbayeva of Kazakhstan faces Becky Livesey of Great Britain. It's Nishanbayeva in the white judogi, Livesey in blue. That's the contest coming up here on mat number 2. The referee in the middle for this one is Frank Dirch of Germany.
Well, Livesey's first match was against Merkan of Turkey, with winning with a lovely left-handed Uchimata. Looked very strong in the first round.
Chance to attack with the Sangaku here, but Livesey defended that well. Matthew Percy in the chair, isn't it?
Yes.
Was it just the two brothers, Matthew and Jonathan, wasn't it?
Yes, that's correct. Both very heavily into coaching now, one at the fundamentals of judo. That's Jonathan, and Matthew heavily involved with the national
end.
high performance.
Was it that way in their international careers?
Yes, it was.
I'm going to get a slap from Jonathan.
Jonathan was an outstanding performance, though.
Nice judo,
wonderful judo. Brilliant judo.
Almost.
But the best fighter of that family is the mother. She kept those boys intact.
Just a single Shido against Nurlanbekov at the moment. Half the contest gone, and it's the Kazakh fighter who's busy attacking on the ground again. Tries to work on the arm this time. Livesey just managing to get herself out of that, pulling the arm through and standing up. So minute 40 odd left to go. Nurlanbekov just tidying herself up before we get back underway.
Livesey once more getting that left hand in the lapel, just being that first on the attack, finds herself down under a little bit of pressure in the knee waza. Sangaku turning that we've seen Livesey under a bit of pressure before in the knee was, and it's something she's got to be very careful down there. Nurlanbekov looking very powerful in the ground. Livesey, bronze medalist in the Junior European Championships. Also in Zagreb last year, picked up a bronze medal. Well, Livesey, a great win. Who takes her into the semi-final of this under 57 kilo category. So Livesey goes in where she will meet in the semi-final Nielsen of Israel. Now we're here at the men's under 60 kilos quarter-final. Jagaldorj representing Mongolia in the white. Sagnibay in the blue. Jagaldorj defeated Ibrayev of Kazakhstan, the number 2 seed in this weight category, in the first round. Sagnibay had a bye in the first round and also in the second, so this is his first opening round. Plays straight into the quarter-final. Most would say that's a fantastic draw to have. Well, not when your opponent's such a strong contender and has already had a couple of warm-up matches along the way to get to this quarter-final. Jagaldorj there, straight into the Osakomi, a great takedown score in a Wazari. Following right into the Osakomi, holding quite comfortably down there. Sagnibay, a cadet Asian champion 2015, still a young competitor here in this world circuit. Gave a good account of himself in this quarter-final match. So Jagaldorj goes into the semi-final of the men's 60 kilos. So the next quarter-final will be Ozlu of Turkey, representing Turkey in the white, and also representing Turkey in the blue, Kaba. And this will be a very interesting match for Ozlu. Last year in Samsun picked up the gold medal. Got to be the strongest contender here for this place in the semi-final. Both these athletes last year got into the final. Kaba picked up the silver medal in Grand Prix 2014, a silver medal in the African Open Port Louis in 2015, a silver medal. So a strong younger athlete. Again, another strong attack, both very evenly matched, both gold and silver medalists in Samsun last year. Ozlu Grand Prix in Havana, silver medal, and last year in Dusseldorf in the Grand Prix took a bronze medal. There's no stranger to be amongst the medals or in the finals, and very comfortable on home grounds here. Knows he has the advantage over Kaba of winning on a head-to-head. You can see Kaba with that very strong high collar grip. Ozlu throws that right hand over the top. Very powerful and threatening indeed, as Kaba drops to his knees and will pick up a Shido for that. So Kaba finding that right-handed collar grip very powerful and imposing on his opponent. Ozlu looking the stronger of the two halfway through this contest. Quite a bit of experience under his belt over his teammate. This could result with another Shido being awarded to Kaba as the Ozlu takes the win there with the ippon and a place in the semi-final of the under 60 kilo category. And he'll be up against in that semi-final with Jagaldorj from Mongolia, the number 2 seed in this weight category. So we now come to quarterfinals. Dovdon is the bottom half of this weight category, 2nd seed in the under 66 kilos. Against Sandal of Turkey. Well, Sandal again coming out very fast and furious, as if he's on nervous energy out there, and straight away wants to pile the pressure on the number 2 seed, Dovdon from Mongolia. Mongolian just trying to stabilize his opponent. Lovely drop Sianagi there as he tries to follow through. Losing a little bit of control. And this crucial match is for a place in the semi-final. Sandal of Turkey looking very determined to get into that semi-final. In front of this home crowd. Again another drop, Sianagi piling the pressure on Dovdon. Attack after attack. Well, there's a lot of effort being put in here by Sandal. Can he continue with this very fast and hard work rate that he's putting in so far? 2 minutes has been all his. Piling the pressure on the Mongolian. Showing such determination out there in this contest. Dovdon with 1 Shido on the board. Doesn't seem to be too phased at this moment. Is not under too much pressure. He's trying to compose himself as much as he can. Trying not to follow into the bait of this work rate. Quite happy to try and stabilise and slow down this contest. Sandal again, high collar grip, controlling nicely. Dovdon defending, very strong there. Well, the Mongolian really needs to start piling on the pressure a little bit. He's had 3 minutes where he's just coasted through this contest. Sandal has put a lot of work in here. A lot of effort's been made to control this contest. Sadly, no result on the board, and that's what counts. Dovdon with the Ochigari. Sandal with the drop. Sianagi. And follows through, and that was a lovely attack, scoring a Wazari, a well-deserved Wazari. If anyone deserves to get into this semi-final, it's Sandal. But they've taken the Wazari off, and the pressure is back on. Well, half a minute in this contest. Dovdon drops Sianagi. Sandal looking for the Niwaza opportunity. 18 seconds left in this contest. Well, the second Shido is awarded now to Dovdon. It's not going to make a difference going into the golden score, as we know. A score has to count in the contest itself, but this is where it plays an important part in this golden score. Dovdon with 2 Shidos on the board, 1 more result in the hand Sokumaki. Sandal continues to pile on the pressure. He showed such determination right through this whole contest. Deserves to be in that semi-final with the work rate he's put in. Does he tactically have what it takes to keep that pressure on? That has already resulted in 2 Shidos being placed on the board for Dovdon. The number 2 seed Dovdon in this competition. Well, you've got to give Sandal from Turkey 10 out of 10 for effort. So close. Another good attack, defended well by Dovdon as he works away in the Niwaza. He's looking for the Sangaku. Sandal turns out, starts to look for the Osakomi. An exciting and brilliant match here for Sandal, who's worked so hard throughout. A drops and a Kochi. But as he dropped himself in a really difficult situation, that Kochi there left himself wide open. He sat onto his bottom. He's got to be very, very careful here now. 1 minute and 6 seconds into the golden score. 5 minutes these gentlemen have been out there battling away. Sandal, amazing the effort he's put in, the extreme fitness that he's shown in this contest, and still produces time after time the pressure on his opponent. Dovdon comes out. First attack with the Ashiwazas, drops down under his opponent. Sandal starting to look a little bit tired now. As we know, Sandal can afford another Shido before it's evened up. But he's looking tired, the head's down, the pressure's on. And the second Shido has been awarded 2 apiece now. And a drop. Sianagi, it was deep. And he's just really just lost everything now. The fitness has started to give up on him. And would we be surprised? The control, his head's rocking up and down. It really is struggling out there. And it just could be going so horribly wrong for Sandal now. He's worked for 6 minutes out there. He's dominated for 6 minutes. And Dovdon has just now started to pick up the pieces and showed all the experienced athlete he really is in this quarter-final. Well, Sandal needs to try and find it from somewhere. There's another drop and a Wazari there for Sutemi Waza scored, and Dovdon just in that last, in the golden score, just turned this match completely around.
She's got no sympathy, has she?
None whatsoever, but you know what, you've got to give this man, Sandal, 10 out of 10 for effort. Dominated this whole match for 6 minutes.
Been out there for about, and if you add in the extra time, he's been on the mat for about 10 minutes, and Chandra says, "Wait, on your feet."
On your feet. Can't be tired.
Super effort
Oh, it was
from Sandal. We're going to see him again, but it will be in the repechage contest. It's Dovdon who makes his way in to the semi-final, second of the semi-finals in the under 66 kilo category. Who have we got coming up next then? Oh, this should be tasty little morsel for us to devour. Baruch Schmilov of Israel faces Abdulzhalilov of Russia. It's Schmilov in the white judo gi, Abdulzhalilov in blue. And then after that, we've got the repechage contest, Gurbanli and Kelmendi. We're going to go head to head. Ariel Bezalel will face Tina Sikic of Croatia. I'm not sure if the Croatian's going to compete actually, because she looked as though she had a bruised rib. So it's possible that she may not be taking part. She did come over to have some treatment from our doctor, so I'll find out about that and then I'll come back to you. Anyway, Schmilov in the white judogi, Abdulzhalilov in blue. Here's Loretta.
Thank you, Sheldon. And again, it's going to be another exciting match. You just sense the atmosphere in this arena is just heating up quite nicely. We've had some fantastic matches here. Turkey doing extremely well, great performances. Abdulzhalilov there, just taking his time, but getting a little bit ragged around there down into the Niwaza. Schmilov picked up a bronze medal in Baku. Ranked 13th in the world.
Schmilov won't pick up a score for that. The referee had already called mate.
Schmilov there with that left hand on the lapel as he comes in, pulls in and into the Ponsianagi. Zalilov there, Abdulzhalilov there taking the sleeve and attacking off that sleeve. A little slow start for this Russian. Russian now looking for an opportunity in Niwaza. Doesn't seem to be able to create anything down there. Well, 1 minute less remaining in this contest, a quarter-final place in the semi-final. Russian now looking for the opportunity in Niwaza. Not quite sure there, and the arm lock or the shimiwaza. I'm quite sure which he tapped for, possibly the shimiwaza. He had an option there of both. Lovely bit of Niwaza. It takes him into the semi-final of the under 66 kilos. Well, Abdulzhalilov there takes that place in the semi-final, with where he'll be up against later on with Dovdon of Mongolia.
Right, there's a repechage contest in the under 48 kilo category. Oh, that's it, all over and done with. Fiola Kelmendi got absolutely buried by Aisha Gurbanli there. That was incredible. What a absolute cork cold. That was just a real shocker. Hardly got going. First grip.
Well, that was the mistake. She threw that arm over very lightheartedly, dropped her weight. And actually, when she threw the weight at her arm, she left herself so high. And
5 or 6 seconds. Look, there's 56. Must have been 5 seconds. So 5 seconds. She was gone. Goodness me. Right, that brings us to head-to-head between the two Israelis. Shira Rashonyi faces teammate Noah Minska in the semi-final of the under 48 kilo category. It's Rashonyi in the white judogi, Minska in blue. Winner takes all.
Oh, definitely, there'll be no love but lost between these two athletes when it comes to a place in the final. Both have had great performances today. Rashonyi defeating Kelmendi in her first round, had a bye the first match. Second round, Kelmendi. Minska in the first round had Guz of Turkey, and then Gurbanli, who just, as we've seen, got herself into the final of the bronze medal. Well, Minska looking the more determined out of the two, very positive. Piling the pressure on Rashonyi. Picks up her first Shido. Drops Yanagi there, but lovely counter. Well anticipated. And score an Ippon. Well, that Shido is all she needed to wake her up. But was it deserving of an Ippon? Well, no, it's been downgraded to a Wazari, so competition is still in play.
The contest to come, oddly enough, on this map features another Israeli. It's Ariel Bezalel. And what happened was, when the referee signalled Ippon, and that was the end of it, they went back to their start positions, and obviously the contestants waiting to come on, knowing that they were up next, started to walk down. And they walked halfway down and realised, well, we're not going to walk halfway back. Normally they would go back, but there's an Israeli waiting to come on, and it's two Israelis fighting, so they've stayed there to watch. So they're standing behind that cameraman watching. Normally they would go back. You can just see them in the far left corner of that shot. There, it's Ariel Bezalel and the
trying to be as discreet as they possibly can,
because they don't want one of our staff to come and say, "Oh, you know, you're on the field of play. Go and sit down." A good close look. Shani Hershko and Ariel Bezalel. It's a different weight category, so anyway, they're there.
And as you would expect, no coaches
in the coach's chair.
In the coach's chair, so both athletes just getting on with it. Rashonyi obviously the upper hand here with the Wazari.
Very interested to see how Ariel Bezalel gets on in that next contest. The suspicion that Tina Sikic would not come out, but she's lined up, so I guess we're going to see her. And then immediately after Bezalel and Sikic, we're going to have Krasniqi and Merv Tass. I wonder how long that one's going to last. Because Krasniqi, I think, is beginning to step up a gear.
She's starting to warm up very nicely, isn't she, in this tournament?
And she's struggling from having come directly from Slovenia, where they've been training at altitude, and to come down here is proving a little bit difficult for her.
It takes a little time to acclimatise, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's getting your breath down here. You're up there with rarefied, clean, light air. Down here it's a bit stuffy, hot and heavy. So Krasniqi was struggling a bit, she said.
The long-term benefits of high-altitude training is amazing, but to adapt so quickly, it is impossible. You do feel that you've got to take at least a couple of weeks to just acclimatise again. But the overall benefits from high altitude is amazing.
Time running out for Noah Minska as Rashonyi has a quick look at the clock. There's a mild suggestion of a smile that crosses her face, but I think it's just...
Well, it was never going to be one of the prettiest fights, and it was going to be very close, but Rashonyi dominated it quite nicely after picking up that first Wazari, which was almost an Ippon. It was very close, but a well-deserving place in the semi-final.
Right, a hand slap from Bezalel. I think should have slapped anybody's hand from Israel coming off the mat, but it just happened that she was entering the tatami on the same side that the winner was, Rashonyi. And yeah,
She'll be quite happy with that.
there is no Tina Sikic, as we suspected. That rib injury has left it impossible for Tina Sikic to take part. So Ariel Bezalel gets the walkover. She goes into the bronze medal contest. But we're going to stay here on mat number 2 to watch the second of the semi-finals in the under 52 kilo category. Distria Krasniqi of Kosovo faces Merv Tas of Turkey. It's Krasniqi in the white judogi, Tas in blue. The referee in the middle for this one is Hyun Suk-hee of the Republic of Korea. That's as much as information as I've got. That's it.
Oh, goodness! Well, that was that was very swiftly done, and as we saw in the 2 previous matches for Tas, they were very challenging, and they went past into the golden score, and she struggled in that last match against Sikic, who picked up an injury, but so Krasniqi goes in to the semi-final. A very convincing win. And there was straight off the grip, hooked in, right off to the side, taking her off to our weakest point there without even having to move. So Krasniqi into the final of the women's under 52 kilos.
Right, Sultanova and Nishanbayeva, Uzbek and the Kazakh in the repechage contest in the under 57 kilo category. We will come back here to see the semi-final, but there's a quarter-final taking place down on mat number 1. Jagaldorj of Mongolia faces Mambetov of Kyrgyzstan. Let's take a look down at mat number 1 to see what's happening with the number 1 seed in the under 66 kilo category. Jagaldorj in the white judogi, Mambetov of Kyrgyzstan in blue. There's no score yet, and we've got a little over 3 minutes left to go. All our plans were upset by that 3-second win by Krasniqi. It was so quick that we hardly had time to get our cameraman up and operating, and she was already walking off the mat. It was a pretty quick win. Merv Tas, in all honesty, however, had 2 previous contests, both of which had gone into golden score, where she was really flagging, and I thought this is not going to last long. Yeah,
definitely. She was very tired.
I thought it'd last a bit longer than 3 seconds, though.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. She's been challenged all the way through to that point, and
I was walking with a colleague in the warm-up area before, and we bumped into Krasniqi, and we said, you know, you got your semi-final come up. She says, I'm not going to take long.
She never.
She said that. She told us.
Don't you just love the confidence?
I'm not going to take long, she said. Well, she'd seen the 2 contests with Merv Tas, So she thought, well,
it's definitely got to give you a boost of
Yeah.
confidence when you see somebody having to go real into the golden score and be challenged as much as she
Yeah.
was
just went
in
right
that
through.
quarter-final.
2 penalties apiece. A minute, 50 odd seconds left to go. Referee's not hanging around here. Hasn't liked what he's seen, and this is not going to go the distance, is it? It happens where both fighters are too cagey. Tentative in their attacks, pick up a force attack. You know, playing with the area, pick out stepping out, and then gripping in infringements.
Well, lovely Uchimata there.
Unbelievable.
So the number 1 seed
You have to get off that. Go on,
goes
Loretta,
out
go on.
there. The number 1 seed goes out, and now has to look at trying to keep himself in for a bronze medal.
What was it that possessed him to try and ride that Uchimata effort? You know, you try and ride it sometimes and it's just not going to happen. Step over it or whatever. No. Got to get off that. It was too good an effort.
Well, he was really challenged in the previous match against the Russian when they went into golden score, but that was a very tough match for him.
There's Mambetov. Right, sorry, we're going to jump around because there's another semi-final in the under 57 kilo category, this time taking place on mat number 2. Timna Nelson Levy of Israel faces Becky Livesey of Great Britain. It's Nelson Levy in the white judogi, Livesey in blue. Let's go down to mat number 2. There are the 2 fighters. I'm going to let Loretta take a rest from filling out the contest sheet and pay full attention to this one. I know that she'll enjoy watching this.
Well, Livesey has fought extremely well, and she had been plagued with injuries, but she's a great prospect for British judo. Works extremely hard. Very determined young lady. But she's up against a tough opponent, Nilsson. As we know, the Israelis have always come out very well prepared and great athletes. Nilsson had a bye in the first match. In the second round, defeated the Uzbekistan Sultanova, and now finds herself in the semi-final here with Livesey. Livesey had Murkan of Turkey in the first match. You see 2 convincing wins. Uchimata Ouchigari combination there. There's some high collar grip there. Just knocking Livesey off balance into the ground. Got to be careful with that right high collar grip. Once again the cross grip, the right high collar over there. Sutemi Waza, nice attack, scoring, should have got a score there. Livesey with that left arm around the back as she hooks in with the Ouchi-Uchimata combination. As we've seen in previous matches, is very effective, scoring and winning matches with that very same technique, but Finds herself up against a tough opponent in Nilsson. The danger for Levy is that right hand that comes high over the top of the head. Once again, round the back, it controls quite nicely.
That wasn't a bad little left ojigari from Levy a moment ago. Didn't have the push in the right direction, but she managed to hook the leg in well. Just didn't have the final push.
I think the problem is that right hand of Nilsson that comes round the back. It's obviously very strong and controlling, and the danger is if you hook in, she could leave herself open for the counter. And Levy most probably can sense that and has that sort of feeling of danger as she hooks in. So she's not as committed with the ouchigari as we've seen in previous matches. But she's first on the attack each time. Nilsson has that strong grip once more. Every time gets the grip that she desires, but the first attack comes from Levy. Once more that grip, cross grips. Now the danger of the Koso Tagak.
It's really looking strong on that side, isn't she?
So it's been a very intense match here so far. I think the biggest danger there for Levy was that Koso Tagak that we just saw in the last seconds of that contest. And it all stems from that right hand coming deep in the back. That's causing a few dangers there for Levy. She opts for the left-handed Ouchu Chimata. And there's a real threat there with that right hand round the back, as you can see once more as she waits for the counter and there we see it as she steps over. There was always that big threat, you could see it happening, and bumped her over the opposite side and taken herself into the final of the under 57 kilos. A great match by Levy, who goes into the bronze medal final.
Turnover, that was threatening for a while. Nelson Levy just waited her time and managed to come up with the turn. Well, we've got two repechage contests on the mat at the moment, so we're not going to, on mat 1 and mat 2, so we're not going to jump around too much. Let's see if we can hang on for the under 60 kilo category semi-final between Jagaldorj and Ozlu. That's coming up on the next on mat 2. And mat 1 Galbadrak and Giliazova, but whichever comes first. We'll see whichever contest comes first. At the moment we're watching a repechage contest in the under 60 kilo category. It's Bayaman Sagnibay Ulu of Kyrgyzstan. He faces Ahmet Shahin Kaba of Turkey. Sagnibay Ulu in the white judogi and Kaba in blue. single Shido against Sagnibay. At the moment, 2:17 left to go. Kaba just being encouraged to speed up his belt tying operation. Just in the background of that shot, Moshe Ponti, the president of the Israeli Judo Federation, just being joined by Team the Nelson Levy, who we're going to see in the under 57 kilo category final. Oh, that's a good score by Kaba, just at the right time, minute and a half. Still got a long time to hold on. Actually, I thought it was. Thought there was less time in the contest, but a minute and a half to go. Good score, Nelson Levy. We will see. And the second score. So Kaba comfortably in control of this one now. And the Osaikomi is on. He's out of that, but he'll pick up a third score with 30 odd seconds left to go. Still attacking strongly, Kaba. Tapped on the right side there. The number one seed in the under 48 kilo category, Otkontsetse Galbadrak of Kazakhstan, is about to take to mat number one. She faces Sabina Gilyazova of Russia. It's Galbadrak in the white judogi, Gilyazova in blue. And a fourth score right at the end there by Ahmet Shahin Kaba to close things out. Right, let's go down to mat number one because we haven't seen Galbadrak this morning. And now it's well into the afternoon, so let's take a look and see for the first time Otkontsetse Galbadrak. She's in the white judogi. She faces Sabina Gilyazova of Russia, who is in blue. Galbadrak looking to go over on that right side with the Setemiwaza. Now it's a nice Setemiwaza from Galbadrak. Didn't come off the first time, but it did the second. She rolls her opponent over and comes up with that Wazari from Sunigaifi. She looks a lot more settled now, does Galbadrak. Taking her time over this. Single Wazari the lead for Galbadrak then. We're inside the last minute. She's got Gilyazova backed up into that near left corner, and I think it's the Russian who's going to pick up the penalty here. Penalty for passivity to add to her problems. Well, got to go for it now with only half a minute left to go. She does. She attempts that right-sided Uchimata, but only manages to get the leg. She doesn't quite get enough or get close enough to her opponent. And now Galbadrak tries to strong-arm Gilyazova over onto her back. Rather unattractive-looking attempt at a turnover there from the Kazakh fighter, which in any case doesn't come off. Well, that was enough. That single score of Wazari to take Galbadrak through to the final of the under 48 kilo category. She came in here as the number 1 seed, and she will face the number 2 seed in the final, Shira Rashonyi of Israel. We've got a repechage contest coming up in the under 52 kilo category now. Nazakat Azizova of Azerbaijan faces Damla Kaliskan of Turkey. It's Azizova in the white judogi, Azizova in the white judogi, and Chaliskan in blue. We're going to go down to mat number 2 because there's a semi-final taking place between Jagaldorj Amatoshin of Mongolia. He faces Bekir Ozlu of Turkey. It's Jagaldorj in the white judogi, Ozlu in blue. Sorry, it's Jagaldorj Amarbold. My mistake there. Couldn't read the whole name. Second penalty picked up by Ozlu. Got to be careful here. Got 2 scores on the board. Just trying to turn Jagaldorj over there. Always looks a little bit tired, Ozlu. 20-odd seconds for Ozlu to hold out. He can't afford another penalty, but he's going to get a bit of a break now because he's picked up a bump to the lip. He's going to need a little bit of attention. So a minor halt to proceedings whilst they just tidy this up. Shouldn't be a couple of seconds before we have Ozlu back on the mat and then ready to get going. Here he comes. Jagaldorj can't wait to get at him. Straight on him. Well, Ozlu had just enough left in him to take the contest. The other thing is he did score twice. So Jagaldorj can't really have too much to complain about. Jagaldorj goes into the repechage contest. Well, the bronze, sorry, he goes into the bronze medal contest. He'll compete for bronze. But it'll be Bekir Ozlu of Turkey who goes into the final of the under 66 kilo category. A very big hello to Martin Poiga, who's listening into the broadcast. Hello to you, Mr. Poiga. Hope everything is well. Just in time to see the contest between Sinan Sandal of Turkey faces Baruch Schmilov of Israel. It's Sandal in the white judogi, Schmilov in blue, and immediately after that we'll have the second semi-final in the under 66 kilo category. Schmilov ends up destroying Sandal. That's quieted the crowd, I'm afraid. A big ippon from Schmilov that leaves Sandal gripping at his waist area, maybe a rib, slow to get to his feet. Caught cold, I'm afraid, was Sinan Sandal, and it's Baruch Schmilov who we'll see in the bronze medal contest. There's the big Uchimata. Put him on his head as well. Just see if there's an arch in his back. Yeah, you can see it. He's arched his back. He's tried to bridge as well. So over he goes. Right, the second semi-final in the under 66 kilo category. Dovdon Altansuk of Mongolia faces Abdulzhalilov of Russia. It's Dovdon in the white judogi, Abdulzhalilov in blue.
So this is the semi-final of the men's 66 kilos. Dovdon, seeing the white gi representing Mongolia. Abdulzhalilov of Russia in the blue. Dovdon there looking for the Niwaza. Had a very testing match in the quarter-final where he was up against Sandal of Turkey. That was a very exciting match and won in the golden score. That would have taken a lot out of him. Well, Dovdon did extremely well to get off that drop. Abdulzhalilov defeated Israeli Schmilov in the previous match. So neither one of these athletes had it an easy ride through to this semi-final. Both being challenged quite considerably. Lovely Toshi there, but just lost his balance there. Dovdon tried to capitalise on that. Oh, lovely attempt to show of that Oso Tagari. All upper body control there. See Dovdon there with that extreme left hand high collar grip. Lovely attack there. Great comeback there from the Russian, who then straight in falls into the Osakomi, but didn't manage to capitalise on it.
Change of direction, eh? He really wanted him going forward. It wasn't happening. There was a big reaction from Dovdon to go back. He said, if that's where you want to go, I'll go with you. Comes up with Wazari Abdulzhalilov leading now. He was never one of the young, when he was younger, he didn't get the looks that the other young Russians did. All those cadet and juniors and everything, never got there.
Well, he's looking down here for something in Niwaza. As you can see, he's got the skirt of the gi up high, controlling that arm and the head. Well, the Russian is really good at actually fooling his opponents. He comes in with an Osota, shows it, and Dovdon has a couple of times has fell for that.
Get the reaction, yeah.
He's got the reaction, but he hasn't just followed it through. But he's in a comfortable lead here with the Wazari. 21 seconds left in this contest. Dovdon with the right high collar grip there.
Looking for a little Sutemi was but he was just that the gap was too big, too far away. Didn't get any purchase on that really when he got the leg up, but Wasn't able to move Abdulzhalilov, and the Russian decides, I'm going to bail here. I've got a nice clean sheet. A single Shido isn't going to hurt me that much. I'll take a dive here, which he does. Yellow card for Abdulzhalilov, and he stands up a little bit stronger this time. Dovdon comes up with a last-ditch effort at the Sutembi, but again it's too far away. It's a little bit too late. Time runs out, and it's Abdulzhalilov of Russia who makes his way into the final. We'll see Dovdon Altansuk in the bronze medal contest, but we're going to rush over to mat number 1 to have a look and see what's happening in the semi-final between Nora Zhakova of Kosovo.
What's quite interesting, both number 1 and number 2 seed out of the final positions.
In the 66s.
In the 66s. Both Mongolians now are into the repechage.
Maybe they're tired. You know, both doing a lot of travelling at the moment. Well, this one is going to go into golden score. Zhakova, the number 1 seed, finding things a little bit tough against Seregbata Hulan of Mongolia. It's Zhakova in the white judogi, Seregbata in blue. She's picked up a single Shido. She can't afford another error. Oh, she does. Right away, after 10 seconds in the golden score, comes up with a false attack, and Zhakova is gifted a place in the final of the under 57 kilo category. That leaves us with a repechage contest in the under 60 kilo category. Alon Rahima of Israel faces Bayara Amartushin of Mongolia. Rahima in the white judogi, Bayara in blue. Shiro Rashonyi and Gilly Cohen watching on. Just be sitting behind the Mongolian coach. A right-sided effort from Bayara doesn't come off. Someone draped in a Kazakh flag over there. No Kazakhs on the mat at the moment. He's probably waiting for the upcoming fight. Kyrgyzbayev, or maybe when Mukhanov comes on. They've got 2 Kazakhs coming up. Sandwich between the contest, the repechage contest between Davidorj and Viru. First minute gone, no score between Rahima and Bayara. .25 after 2, I suppose by 2:45 local time. It's in 20 minutes time. We should probably have wrapped things up, and then we'll be back at 5 o'clock with all the medal matches. They'll all be on one mat, so you can sit back, nice, comfortable, and get yourself a cup of whatever it is, or maybe a glass of something. I tend to offer up the possibility of having a glass of something on the weekend. I don't know why. It may be time wherever you are to crack open a cold one. I don't know. Anyway, the choice is yours. You put your feet up and watch a bit of judo. From 5 o'clock it'll be all the medal matches. Wasn't the strongest of Uchimata efforts from Rahima, and Bayara was able to block it reasonably easily, just pushed his hips down and forced his opponent down onto his knees. Minute 40 odd left to go. Bayara is the one who looks as though he's doing the chasing. He's not chasing a score, there's no score on the board. And there he goes, that will be it. Yeah. I'm surprised that he didn't give the ippon with Rahima, having attempted to bridge out of that. Well, we'll see. No, I just let that one go on. So Rahima lives to fight another day. Single score of Wazari the lead for Bayara now. He's just beginning to look that little bit stronger than the Israeli. Missed the chance for a counter there. The Mongolian, the left leg was up really high. He was standing on one leg, slightly exposed. And now Rahima picks up the penalty for a false attack. He's making things hard for himself now. And if the first one wasn't,
The second one was.
Definitely was, yeah. Really got hold of him there, did Bayara. Poor old Rahima. Well and truly dumped there. Yara Amatushin of Mongolia wins out there. We've got a semi-final now in the under 60 kilo category coming up next. Yang Yongwei of Chinese Taipei faces Guzman Kyrgyzbayev of Kazakhstan. It's Yang in the white judogi, Kyrgyzbayev in blue. Nice left-sided effort there from Yang. Got right underneath his his Kazakh opponent with that low left-sided ippon seoinage effort. Didn't quite come up with a finish, but he threatened well enough, and now he tries the Marotte seoinage on the left side. Kyrgyzbayev blocks that. Third effort from Yang, and it's Kyrgyzbayev who's looking a little bit flat-footed here at the moment. Gonna have to come up with some attacks. He does. It's a little Makikomi effort on the right-hand side, but he hasn't got the hands in the right place. Well broken up by Yang. Yeah, that's probably the weakest of Yang's attacks. He's got his hands trapped now. Kyrgyzbayev isn't able to use it. And there's a chance for Yang to come back with a slightly stronger grip than the last time round. when Kyrgyzbayev throws that right arm over the top, there's the temptation from Yang to come in with a right-sided Kojigaki, but it's not working. As long as he can stay strong with the blocking, Yang, he's got a good chance of taking this one. Kyrgyzbayev now, with only a minute and a half left to go, he's going to struggle. Got to come up with something big. Nope, that is not going to get on the scoreboard. So we can see Kyrgyzbayev's method of operation here. No, this is just to hang on and try and counter Yang. Yeah, it's got to be that little bit more clever. Well, Yang could have avoided that. Just kept doing what he was doing. He got dragged into that gripping exchange with Kyrgyzbayev, and they both picked up penalties for avoiding to take a grip. That's another good effort on the right side from Yang. It doesn't quite come up with a score, but just on my book, he's shading things as far as the sheer volume of attacks. Unfortunately for Yang, the results don't go on who I've written in my book, so he's going to have to try and get on the scorebook. At the moment, the only thing in there is the penalties, and he just added to that penalty count by picking up a second penalty, this time for ducking underneath. We're already into the golden score period now. And it'll be Yang and Kyrgyzbayev go head to head. Yang it is who picks up a third penalty. Unfortunate for the man from Chinese Taipei, he loses out, having picked up a third Judo. It's a good contest. Unfortunately, littered with penalties. Slightly let the two fighters down. Right, we're left with two contests, both in the under 66 kilo category. It's the number one seed taking part in this repechage contest, Dovdon Tumukhilek of Mongolia. He faces Denis Viru of Moldavia. It'll be Dovdon in the white judogi and Viru in blue. Oh, nice effort there from Viri. Almost had Dovdon onto the scoring part of the body. Dovdon comes back with his own little Hajiyeva. But not quite as threatening as Denis Viru's was. Neither of them came up with a score. And that bodes well for the attacking nature of both the fighters. Let's see if they can keep that up for the next couple of minutes. Ojigari, that Dovdon manages to step off, and then Viru comes back on the right side with a hip technique, but doesn't come off. The fighters getting in nice and close. Dovdon thinking about that bear hug as Viru got in close and put one arm round him. Dovdon thought, well, I might give this a go, and then he thought better of it. 2:20 odd left to go, no score as yet. Dovdon now comes up with the score. Still troubled by that bandage above his, well, it goes all the way around the head, but it's particularly uncomfortable above Dovdon's right eye. And now it's the turn of Viru to come up with a strong right-sided Ojigari attack that has Dovdon falling back and then turning onto his front to avoid giving up the score. Minute 20 left to go. He really is troubled. Dovdon, that cut that he picked up in Tbilisi a week ago hasn't healed, and the only way to make sure that you don't aggravate it further is to throw your opponent for Ippon, which he does. And there's a big smile from Denis Viru, who realises, oh, that was a real planting that he took there from Dovdon. And Dovdon is still holding his head. It really is troubling him. But he wins out there, scored Wazarin, then came up with a big Ippon to take that repechage contest. We'll see him in the bronze medal contest. We've got one more contest to bring you, and that's between Bektur Rizmambetov of Kyrgyzstan. He faces Azamat Mukhanov of Kazakhstan. It's Rizmambetov in white, Mukhanov in blue. This for a place in the final. The winner will face Abdulzhalilov of Russia. Well, the first half a minute taken up with finding some grips from which they can work with. It's Mambetov who comes up with the first big attack. It's a right-sided Sode Turikomikoshi effort that Mukhanov kind of not steps over, but he leaps over, if you like, and kind of helps himself over the shoulder and then onto his front and knees, and there's no score. A Simigeshi effort from Mukhanov, but it's a weak one. He's a little bit too far away. He didn't break the balance of his opponent, and it's so bad that they decide to give a Shido for it. He's lacking in too many elements, and one of them was it didn't move his opponent. He almost gets taken back here, but you can't score there. Either of them. The counter won't be given, and there was no control from Mambetov either. A good call by the referee. Referee in the middle is from Gambia, Jean-Claude Jimbi. Dangerous thrower is Mukhanov. Could be an interesting final if it's Mukhanov and Abdulzhalilov. Whereas Mambetov fancies himself as a bit of a thrower as well, but he's been blocked on 2 occasions and almost countered. So he's not quite as tight with his attacks as he'd like to be. There was a comic moment there as Mukhanov tried to time his leap between Mambetov opening and closing legs, trying to keep him out, and Mukhanov tried to time it. He managed to get through the legs, landed in the midriff of Mambetov, and it was slightly uncomfortable in that lower abdominal area. He seems to have recovered now anyway, with 1 minute and 20 odd left to go.
Well, Mukhanov there tactically just trying to keep that sleeve down. As you can see, holding Mambetov sleeve, but it doesn't do it successfully as it comes through with that Oso Tagari, scoring a Wazari. And nicely timed with just under 1 minute left in this contest.
Got himself into a poor position there, Mukhanov, and Mambetov came up with a good finish, just enough to get on the scoreboard.
Well, less than half a minute now left, and Mukhanov looking desperate out there now.
Just wants him to be at the start position before he calls Hajime. He doesn't want him climbing all over him.
Lovely Uchimata attempt.
Oh, but there was a moment there, yeah.
Nearly turned him in midair, and that could have been fatal there. That could have been a real turning point of this contest.
Last-ditch effort, almost
Well,
got
you've got to
him.
give him 10 out of 10 for effort. He's right to the end. He's put in 2 very strong attacks.
Last one.
The Sodi.
That was it.
And that was the last chance.
Well, it was a good battle. But the single score from Bektur Mambetov was enough to get him past
the fancied Azamat Nurlanbekov of Kazakhstan, and it's Mambetov.
Zalilov.
Yeah,
Of Russia.
Abdulzhalilov. Right, we've got the Russian and the Kyrgyz man, isn't it?
Yes.
A big surprise for me.
Well, they weren't seeded, and so that's again
Yeah,
a real
nice one.
turn-up. That was one of the major changes in under 66, that none of the seeds actually got through to that final.
We look forward to your company in about, 2 hours from now. Got a nice break in which you can go off and have lunch or do whatever it is, wherever it is, whatever time zone you happen to be in. But Loretta and I are going to take a break, and we'll see you back here at 5 o'clock for all the medal matches. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.